The Banwells.
Hello and welcome to Blackmans Bay Studios, and in the second of what has proved to be a very popular series, Keith.
The old Minisodes.
Yes.
Yeah. Especially on Facebook, they're going down a bundle.
Yeah, good, that's great, that's great.
I've had people chasing me up.
Yeah, I know. I mean, we lead busy lives, though,
Well,
Keith.
we do,
Well, I do anyway.
You know.
I'm the only one earning an honest living round here.
Yeah, well, let's debate. I mean, I've earned my honest living, haven't I? You know?
Yeah, but I'm paying for your electric bills and things like that, aren't I? With my tax dollars.
I'm now retired.
Yeah.
And talking of retirees, Mick,
Yeah.
we've got the king of retirees, haven't we? We're going to talk about.
Yes.
This one is about the Banwells, of course. And Ray is, we'll talk about Ray in a minute. But
Yes, that will be explained later.
he's your king of the retirees, I've got to say. And he'll be the first to admit that, wouldn't he?
He would, yeah.
So, so it's about the Banwells. We're going to kick off now. You know, there's only the two of them, isn't there?
Yeah.
So, shouldn't take longer than 3 or 4 hours.
So we'll start off with Steve, shall
Yeah,
we?
let's have a little talk about Steve.
Well, Steve, I would say, is a quiet, mild-mannered sort of bloke.
Yes,
He used to stand quietly in the corner of the partridge, shifting his usual 12 pints of lager.
He could sup some for us.
Yeah,
I tell you, he could.
I mean, I was skinny, but he looked like my X-ray, so I don't know where he used to put it. I think he's hollow.
And he did hard graft as well. He was hard graft. Plastering game. And of course, he played football for us.
He did,
days,
but there was one proviso for him to play, wasn't there?
That's right.
Yeah.
He would never hit the ball, would he?
Would absolutely, positively not head the ball.
And the funny thing is, he was a defender.
Natural place, isn't it, for a bloke who won't hit the ball?
But stand on the post, Steve, you know. Actually, I'll tell you, this is a true story. He was on holiday. You know, when we used to go on holiday, we would play games of football against the locals, you know, get up and give them a bit of jip and stuff like that. They were playing in I can't remember, we didn't go on the holiday, so I don't know, but he went with somebody else, I think Georgie Rickwood and them. And they were playing a game of football, and funny enough, the Chelsea footballer Steve Baldwin played for him.
Yeah.
So they're playing with him. And the Spaniards got a corner, and the corner came over, and Stevie Bale was standing on the post. Ball came straight to him, and he went like that. That Stevie Ball went up and gave him a right ball again.
And he's also got a doppelganger, hasn't he?
Well, you have said that.
Well, he's more than a doppelganger, he's a clone, because I went in a pub over Dartford one lunchtime, and there was a group of blokes standing there, and I said, I thought that was Steve Banwell there. Hello Steve, alright, because he had the same curly flyaway hair. He was holding his pint like Steve always, like his life depended on it.
Actually, he did, didn't he?
He
always had his pint there, like that.
I don't know if you can see that, like that.
Yeah.
And I said, oh, hello Steve, alright. Went up to the bar and I thought, no answer. I turned round, I looked at him and I said, are you alright Steve? And he never said, no mate, no, I'm not, I'm not there, you've got me wrong mate. All he did was, he did a Steve Banwell mannerism. He just went. I mean, that is Steve Banwell, isn't it?
Oh, he was.
I was flabbergasted, and to this day I can remember that he's definitely got a double.
We was in the Partridge one Friday night it was, and I was standing at the bar, but I had my back to Steve. He was talking to somebody, and he was having a right old whinge. We were playing darts, and you know. And he was having a right go, and he said, this afternoon, he said, 3:30, he said, you know, like normally on the building you trap a bit early, don't you, you know. And he said, and in came 20 tonne of plaster that he had, and he was the only one that had to unload it. And back in them days, it was all done by hand, if you remember. None of this, put it on a pallet, fork truck, drop it down there. You know, this was all hand, you know. Yeah. Taken off the truck by hand, taken off the lorry by hand. Anyway, so Steve, 20 tonne of it, takes the whole lot off. gets in the partridge and he is absolutely completely knackered and he's whinging to some, I don't know who it was, it might be Georgie, I don't know who he was talking to. Anyway, the funny thing was, I called Mick over and I said, just listen to this, Mick. So we got into the conversation and I turned around and I said, Steve, I said, pissed off this afternoon. He said, why? So I said, me and Mick, I said, just about to go home early. I said, and this bloody lorry turns up with a ton of this bloody plaster we got to unload, it's only, I said, there's only the two of us, a whole fucking ton of it. And Stevie went right off his rocker. A ton, I did 20 ton on my own.
Now, Steve used to like a cigarette, didn't he? And he was getting a bit concerned that he was smoking a bit too much, because he did smoke a lot, didn't he? And he decided to start smoking cigars to try and cut down, and he started smoking Hamlet cigars. Well, in no time at all, he was smoking Hamlet cigars like cigarettes, wasn't he? But one of the things that may be attributed to that or not, I don't know, was that he honked up a lot, didn't he?
Oh, drop of a hat.
Anything would make him sick.
Yeah.
It's weird. I've never known anyone else like it, but there's two particular times
playing football made him sick. And you remember we was playing down Stable Meadows and we turned around and there's Steve on the halfway line knocking his ring up.
Yeah. Well, I remember we was playing one Sunday morning, and probably Steve's had a skinful the night before, and the bloke was playing right back. And the bloke was running down the ring. Someone said, "Get on him, Steve!" And all you could see was Steve going, and the bloke went flying past him. And there was always the classic time when we was all down at Hastings, we was walking down the street.
We said
this before, but it's worth saying again that there was me and Rick Wood in the front, and a load of blokes behind us. And there was this awful smell coming up from a drain or something. It was an awful smell. And I just said to Rick, old Stevie will be honking up in a minute. And then he laughed, and we both looked round to go, "Here, Steve," and he was going, "Whoa." He beat us to it. Yeah.
Well, I think that's Stevie Banwell.
Yeah, that's Steve. Now we come on to Ray.
Yes.
Yeah, no, I've got a bit down here for Ray.
Have a drink and then we'll...
Yeah, now we're going to have to come on to Ray. And
come on to Ray. Cool. Where do we start with him? How do we start with him? Back in the early days, he played football, didn't he? He was in your midfield side.
Yeah, he was a very good defender.
Yeah, good player, and he played for Craig United and said the early games with the Partridge, you remember? He wasn't a bad fast player, wasn't he?
No, it was alright. But what Ray was most noted for was he was a past master at getting paid a day's wages without actually being at work. And I'm not talking about benefit cheat here. We're talking about a bloke who always had a job, didn't he?
Yeah.
Just that he was hardly ever there.
His classic. I mean, I'm sure this might have even been in the Guinness Book of Records. I don't know. When he was in the post office.
Yeah.
99 days off, sick with an ingrown toenail.
Well, he used to tell me all the details because he knew it wound me up, because I'd be working away, every day, and he would be in the Partridge, wouldn't he? And he said to me, "I got pulled in front of the boss today." So I said, "Oh, what was that about?" He said, "Mr. Barrell, do you realise you've had 99 days off sick this year?" And he went, "One short of a ton." I said, "You never said that, did you?" He went, "Yeah." But you had an ingrown toenail, didn't you?
I had two of them, but I did have...
You only had half a day off, didn't you? You had 3 months.
Yeah. I had operation on mine and I was back at work the next day, or 2 days later, whatever it was.
Weird, yeah. Well, I remember, because, get things in perspective, he worked for a while for the post office, didn't he?
Yeah. Well, when he became a postman, I remember him distinctly saying to me, he said, "Well, the thing is, Keith," he said, "it's better than walking the streets, isn't it?"
But he he was in Coppendine, wasn't he? And he got hit by a post van, didn't he?
Of all things.
And a postman witnessed it, didn't he? I mean, everything falls in place for Ray.
Well, he was in the fire brigade, and when he went into the fire brigade, and he was, you know, I think somebody told me he had 3 commendations for bravery in the fire brigade.
Yeah.
He weren't backwards in coming forward. I mean, if there was a fire, he'd be the first one straight through the front door.
Yeah.
You know, no.
If he was there.
Oh, when he was there, yeah, you know. And in the end, he had this massive accident, of course, when this this post office van grazed his elbow, and he was put on light duties for 2 years. And in the end, I think they said it's cheaper for us to give you a bung and tell you to fuck off. I think.
Yeah.
You know.
That's right. But then, because then the fire service, with the time off there, because not Ricky, it was George said to me, who was also a fireman, he said, Ray Banwell was a legend in the fire service, you know, because he slept through the bells, didn't he? Yeah, he slept through, you know, when they were on a night shift and they were all bed down for the night, the lights come on, the bells go off, they all jumped out, he was still asleep. How can you sleep through that? You got a bollocking for it, but how did you do that?
I don't know.
Because he always used to tell me, because like I said, he knew it wound me up. And he was talking about the fire service. I said, how do you know? You don't even know what a fire is. The only fire you see is in that grate over there.
Back in the early days, and still are, I mean, we were United supporters, Manchester United supporters. And we used to go to the games, and we was down, was at Highbury one year for a game, and the United fans were so many of them, they deliberately would go to a London team's end, you know, like North Bank, Highbury, or the Shed at Chelsea, or you know, some of them, and deliberately flood it with people and crowd out all of the opposition. And we were at North Bank, Highbury one day, and standing there was Martin Hodgson was there, Ray and me was there, and it got that bad that all the United fans came in at the back of the North Bank. You remember the North Bank, North Bank Highway, and all the Arsenal fans were lower down, and the police put a row of coppers and separated the two groups by a couple of the grass barriers. Yeah. And all the United fans in them days, they were all greasers, you know, had the long greasy hair and, you know, like almost Hells Angels type jeans, leather jackets. And because us, we're standing amongst them because we're United fans. And the Arsenal fans were all your mods, you know, all your mods, all done with the Crombies and all the gear, you know, short heads, skinheads. Anyway, standing next to me was this massive, great bloke. He would have been 6'6", big fat bloke he was, big, and there was a little geezer. He must have been about 5'6", skinhead, giving him large, and he's saying, he's going, I'll tell you what, if that fucking copper wasn't there, I'd have you. He said, you big dirty bastard. He said, I'd get you outside. I'd kick the fucking shit out of you. He said, you won't know. He's giving him large like that. And this big greaser like just standing there looking at him, and all of a sudden he went like that, and he's gone like that and gobbed at him. But funny, as this geezer mouthing, it's gone straight in his mouth like that. And he's like, right. Ray could hardly watch the game because he was laughing so much about it. I mean, and it was about 3 weeks later, he was still laughing about it, you know, seeing this geezer. Talking of the early days, we were over I reckon it's the Kitchener.
Yeah, no.
I'm saying it, you know, you've got a different view, think it was the Black Prince. I'm 99.9% certain it was the Kitchener. Anyway. We went at it one night, and Ray he could be a little bit handy with his, you know, straight in there with the old fisticuffs, couldn't he? And we were in there one night, I'll say Black Prince then.
The Black
Prince. In the Kitchener one night, and there was a bit of argy-bargy. And Ray went to have a swing at this bloke, and this geezer hit him and knocked Ray right off his feet, didn't he? Literally up in here.
He flew past me.
Yeah, off his feet, you know. Then he got up and he went, "Come on, we're off."
Well, if you see this, I reckon it's the Black Prince.
Yeah, well, I reckon it was the Kitchener, but there you are. You know, maybe we'll find out.
Yeah. Ray, you be the adjudicator.
Yeah. So later on in life, he worked for London Transport, didn't he?
Yeah, he decided.
Well, I think before that he was a funeral director, wasn't he?
Well, up there, because he moved to the boondocks of Norfolk, didn't he? For,
Yeah.
You know, I don't know why, but he did. And he worked for a
Well, an ideal job for Ray.
Yeah.
You know, and absolutely, you know, I don't know whether he was a mourner, you know, your official mourner walking down by the side of the earth with the top hat on.
I could just imagine.
You know, I can imagine Ray doing a very good job of that.
Yeah, very good job.
Nice leisurely pace.
Yeah.
You know?
But then he got a job with the London Underground,
London
didn't he?
Underground, yeah.
Now, Ray told me it's the best job he's ever had. Now, what does that tell you about that job, eh?
All he did nights walking along the line, making sure that there was no dead leaves on it or something, wasn't it?
Yeah, but he told me that he could leave Norfolk, drive down to London, and be back in the pub in Norfolk in time to get a beer before it shut at 10:30. Now, that's one hell of a night shift, that is. Right?
It is, yeah.
If anyone's going to find a way round, it's Ray, isn't it?
It is. Oh dear.
Yeah. Because he's retired now, isn't he? Well, officially.
He's been retired a long time.
I reckon he retired 2 days after he left school.
Yes. Yeah. Oh dear. All right.
Well, I think that's about it for the Banwells.
Yeah, we wrap the Banwells up.
Yeah.
Look, thanks for watching. We're going to continue the series, aren't we?
Yes. Yes.
The next one we're planning is going to be on the Rickwoods.
The Rickwood family, yeah.
Ooh,
look out for that one.
Huh?
That might be a bit longer because there's
Well, there was half a dozen.
There's lots
half a
of
dozen of them, isn't
yeah.
including the old man and old Kitty, isn't there?
And they're all characters in their own right, aren't they?
That's right, yeah.
Yeah.
All
Look
right.
out for that one.
Yep.
Thanks for watching. Goodbye.
We'll see you again. Ta-da.
This has been a Blackmans Bay Studio production.